With a muzzled civil society after a state crackdown in the run-up to the last general election, and now an opposition in disarray following the Uhuru Raila handshake. There has been concern that there is no one to check the executive. But is this the beginning of the end of the opposition in the country? Chris Thairo now reports.
The truce between President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga may have cooled political temperatures in the country after a hotly contested presidential election last year.
The speakers!
But given that the executive enjoys majority support in parliament, the move has put on the spot the role of the opposition in keeping the government in check. And the vigor exhibited by opposition members before seems to have fizzled out.
It's very dangerous for a country to operate without opposition, because at the end of the day, who will oversight the government? And therefore, I feel like right now, we need to have a very strong opposition in parliament.
We want to see every member of parliament playing a role in terms of oversighting the executive. We want to see motions, we want to see bills coming to the House, we want to see members who are discussing these issues openly.
We are not joining Jubilee. We are distinct. We are working together as a country to bring the country together.
While the opposition has previously been credited with unearthing some of the biggest corruption scandals, there are fears that the government may have an upper hand, thus affecting the opposition's watchdog role.
When the opposition raised the red flag on certain corrupt individual, those of us who are in government, we used to defend and say, no, there's no corruption taking place. But now we have a unity in the war against corruption.
The war against corruption now is very serious, and I think the handshake is the reason why it is now being fought at a bigger level.
I think they agreed to bring this country together. And one way of bringing this country together is to appreciate each leader. The president is the president of the Republic of Kenya, and we now appreciate him, we recognize him, and we support him.
Kenya's undisputable opposition leader now appears to assume a new role with the blessings of the Jubilee government. Last week, the opposition leader held a meeting with South Sudan President Salva Kiir in South Sudan in what is touted to be his role as an African Union special envoy and an official representative of Kenya in the negotiations to end civil strife in the troubled country.
Raila's diplomatic capacity has been recognized internationally. This is not the first time that Raila is getting involved in mediation, especially in areas where there are conflicts. You remember even in Ivory Coast.
I'm not against the handshake. It's good for peace and development. But peace and development does not mean that you don't check the government. It means that everyone should perform his or her duties.
The other three NASA principals, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula, seem to have retreated to the drawing board as they plot on their next political move. The three have been kept in the dark on the details of the agreement between the president and the opposition leader. In the wake of the new working relationship between the president and the opposition leader Raila Odinga, the opposition seems to have lost its vigor in their role on oversight. Well, will this work for or against, especially in the fight against graft? The jury is out there. Chris Thairo, KTN News in Parliament.